Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone who is joining me right now in this live video broadcast for a Friday Reads on a wonderful Monday morning. Is it Monday though? No, it's not. It's Tuesday. You see, sometimes we just forget what day it is because we get so engrossed in what we're going to be doing for work that we forget. So, welcome. Today we're going to be looking at in the year of the dragon. Yes, and a happy Lunar New Year to anyone and everyone who is celebrating. And in celebrating this Lunar New Year, I'd like to read just a little background information on what this actually is. With Chinese astrology, according to Chinese astrology, each lunar year is represented by one of 12 animals. Yes, one of 12 animals. And each person, such as you and I, are given a sign according to the year that we were born in. So that's kind of interesting to check and to see what year were you born in and what sign are you based on the Chinese astrology and the one of the 12 animals. The 12 animal signs have existed in Chinese folk tradition since the 6th century BC. But they were incorporated in the study of astrology and astronomy only in the 3rd century BC. So this background knowledge that I'm sharing with you, where did I find it? Did I find it on the internet? Did I find it in Google? No. It is in the teacher's book of the reader I'm going to share with you today. So we said that there were 12 animals, right? Let me go through them very quickly. We have the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the sheep, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, and the pig. So this year, 2022, is the year of, what do you think? Yes, the year of the tiger. So, hello, hello. I'm just seeing the comments being written. Nice to see you with us today. Welcome. So the story I'm going to just share with you, and I'm not going to read the whole story. What I want to do is give you a little teaser on what the story is about and read to you one or two chapters. All right. Just to give you an idea of what we're going to be sharing with you today. This is a contemporary story in the year of the dragon, where two brothers, Jason and Nicholas, they get lost in the midst of Hong Kong's colorful New Year celebration, after Jason's plans are intercepted by his curious young brother. During their adventures around Hong Kong, Jason makes new friends and finds out a lot of interesting things about the world and himself. It is a story of acceptance, friendship, and self-discovery. Something that I think that your students would be interested in. So, just as in every story, today I have you in the comfort of my home, here on my couch, because I wanted to make it a little bit more informal today. And the reason I did this is because when it comes to reading, right, the more we read, the more we'll get to know about the world around us. It will help us in strengthening our micro skills, vocabulary, grammar, comprehension. And in the long term, it'll help us through the communicative approach. So let's get started. In the year of the dragon. Here we are, finally in Hong Kong, said Mr. North in a deep and heavy British accent. Now, for me to sound British, it would be very, very difficult as I am from New York. But we will make it American. He was a tall and thin, middle-aged man with very strong features. What a long flight. All we need now is our luggage. I cannot wait to get to our new home, said his tired-looking wife. She was also tall and thin like her husband, but she had delicate features, although she was kind and sweet most of the time. She could be reserved at other times. Just then, she realized that their sons were missing. "Where did our boys go?" she said to her husband as she looked for them. A few minutes later, she spotted them in the far distance. "Stop following me around, you pest," said Jason to his younger brother, Nicholas. Now, Jason was a 16-year-old boy, and he was quite tall for his age. He had straight blonde hair and blue eyes. He rarely smiled, but whenever he did, it was the brightest smile ever. On the other hand, 10-year-old Nicholas smiled all the time because he was always happy. His red, wavy hair, sparkling green eyes, and freckles on his face made everyone who met him call him a darling. Somehow his cute and innocent look allowed him to get away with anything. "I'm not following you," Nicholas replied defensively. "I have to go to the loo too." The loo? The bathroom. The loo? The bathroom. When they got to the door, Jason turned to his brother and sarcastically said, "Oh, I'm sorry. It says men's room. No pests allowed." "It looks like you'll have to wait, lad," and walked inside. Nicholas, very, very angry at his brother's comment. "Smarty pants! I'll get him back for that," he thought. Suddenly, the box of chocolates he was carrying gave him a naughty idea. So students, teachers, those of you who have brothers and sisters, you can probably relate to this, can't you? Huh? Having the older brother, being the older brother, right? Or even in school sometimes, we have this friction amongst our students. When Jason walked out, Nicholas pretended to be in trouble. He clutched his throat with both hands, stuck out his tongue, and looked cross-eyed. "Help, Jason! I'm choking!" Jason was startled at first, but he quickly realized that it was a prank. So he gave his brother an angry look. "You're such a child," and walked away. Nicholas was a little bit disappointed, but he didn't give up. He started running after Jason. "I'll get him back next time," he thought. When the boys returned to their parents, their father and mother looked at them angrily. "Don't disappear again," said their mother. She gently pulled Jason by the arm and said to him, "You're older than Nicholas. Behave like it and set the example. Keep in mind that you are also the son of a diplomat, and you must act appropriately, whether you like it or not." Ah, so he's the son of a diplomat. Now, what does a diplomat mean? What is a diplomat? That could be the reason why the family has moved, because they have to go to Hong Kong. Okay. Jason raised his voice and said, "Oh, really, Mother? There's no reason to go on about it." "Not another word about it, Jason," said his mother. Sometimes she was a little bit too hard on him. "Why is it always my fault?" thought Jason. "I hate being the oldest." Their father noticed that Jason was upset and winked to comfort him. Then he said, "Let's go. Mrs. Pickles is waiting for us outside." "Mrs. Pickles? Who is Mrs. Pickles?" asked Nicholas. "She is our housekeeper," said their father. "She'll take us home." "Take us home," thought Jason. "But home is in England. That's where my friends are. That's where I know my way around. Not here." They had been in Hong Kong for less than an hour, and he already felt lonely and out of place. "That must be Mrs. Pickles," said their mother, as they walked through the customs and came out the sliding doors. "I talked to her over the phone yesterday, and she told me what she looks like." Now, Mrs. Pickles, funny name, was a short and fat Australian widow. She was wearing a flowery dress and what the boys later called a silly summer hat. So, let's take a moment to share with you some pictures. Here they are in the airport. And as we remember, Nicholas pretends to choke. Doesn't work. And dear Mrs. Pickles, with her silly summer hat. Their mother walked towards her and said, "Mrs. Pickles, I suppose?" Yes, that's me," said Mrs. Pickles. "Welcome to Hong Kong. Oh, aren't you too sweet? How was your flight, darling?" she asked Nicholas and pinched his cheek. Darling. "Fine, thank you," said Nicholas and looked at Jason. He liked the attention she was giving him. Jason just grimaced and walked away. He didn't like Mrs. Pickles, but then again, he didn't like anyone or anything at that moment. "Did I say something wrong?" asked Mrs. Pickles. She wanted to make a good impression. "Don't mind him, Mrs. Pickles. He's tired," said their mother, and gave Jason an angry look. "Well, then, we'd better be on our way," said Mrs. Pickles, and pointed towards the exit. "Thank you very much for taking the time to meet us here," said Mrs. Norris. "No worries," said Mrs. Pickles. "Your chauffeur is waiting outside. He speaks perfect English." Just then, Nicholas held out the box of chocolates. "Would you like one?" The flight attendant gave them to me. Mrs. Pickles was obviously trying hard to resist. "Well, I shouldn't really. I'm watching my figure. But one won't hurt, will it?" And so, the chauffeur is waiting for the family outside with the door open, with Mrs. Pickles, Nicholas and Jason, and their mother and father, waiting to go to their new home. A new home that Jason is not very happy about. Nicholas, being the younger brother, doesn't really focus too much on the change. And so, what I'd like to offer you is a connection on how can our students relate to this situation in today's environment, maybe in school, in their home. You see, online learning and having our students being at home all this time with their siblings, with their brothers and sisters, it wasn't easy for them. As you saw just from the very beginning, sometimes our attention is given too much in one direction where it should be shared equally with everyone. I implore you to visit us on social media and find us on our webpage. We have a plethora of readers, as you can see with all of the Friday reads that we have conducted, to share with you and your students. There are lessons to be learned, value in the stories, a lot of discussion that can be conducted with you and your students. So it's not so much putting our heads down and reading the story itself, but taking breaks to make sure our students understand what is being read, to bring them into the story by connecting to their experiences in real life, to their schema theory, to realia, making it all more important for them to want to know what's going to happen next. So, thank you so much for joining us today. Take care, everyone. Bye.